Welcome back. It's been recommended that the Labour MP Liam Byrne be suspended from the Commons for 2 days for breaching Parliament's bullying and harassment policy. Our political correspondent Joe Pike is in Westminster. Joe, what's the latest on all of this?
Well, certainly the victim in this case, the former employee of the Birmingham Labour MP Liam Byrne, isn't particularly happy that it's taken about 2 years to sort this problem and complaint out. Now, firstly, the Standards Commissioner has investigated Mr Byrne, you can see here. Then the independent panel has recommended this 2-day suspension. It's now up to MPs to decide what to do. Highly likely they will agree to suspend him, partly because Mr Byrne and the Labour Party have agreed to it. But this victim has said that he thinks that that MP should be suspended from the Labour Party, have the whip withdrawn, and there should be a by-election in that Birmingham Hodge Hill seat. That, at this stage, seems unlikely. Liam Byrne hasn't been particularly high profile for the last 12 years. His big moment on the front pages and in the headlines was when he left government in 2010, when Gordon Brown was, of course, handing over to David Cameron. Liam Byrne, as Chief Secretary to the Treasury, wrote that infamous letter, "There is no money left." He, of course, I think thought it was a bit of a joke, and the Conservatives jumped on it, and the Lib Dems too in the coalition, and he uses it as a bit of a campaign tool. So this is the sort of the most headlines Mr Byrne has made since then, aside from that pretty embarrassing letter. We now know he is and has been a bully. He bullied a member of staff who he disagreed with, and instead of sorting those problems out, he basically blanked and stopped communicating with that member of staff for 5 months and stopped that member of staff accessing parliamentary emails. He has said in a statement this: "I did not resolve the dispute correctly with a proper disciplinary process. This constituted an ostracism, which was a breach of Parliament's behaviour code, which I strongly support, and caused distress, for which I'm profoundly sorry. I have apologised in full to the individual concerned." As I say, Simon, we expect MPs to approve that 2-day suspension, but it does seem at this stage unlikely that the Labour Party will agree to the request of the victim in this case, who I believe is a Labour councillor, for Mr Byrne to be suspended from the party, the whip withdrawn, and us to see a by-election.
And Joe, another controversy overshadowing Westminster, multiple cases of sexism in Parliament. We've been hearing from the Prime Minister today.
We certainly have. A lot of cabinet ministers, including Boris Johnson today, have condemned the unknown MP, male Conservative MP, who other Conservatives, female Conservatives, have spotted watching pornography in the Commons chamber. This was the response from Boris Johnson in the last hour.
Well, I think it's obviously unacceptable for anybody to be doing that kind of thing in the workplace. It would be the same for any kind of job up and down the country. Let's be absolutely clear about that. What needs to happen now is that the proper procedures need to be gone through. The independent complaints and grievances procedure needs to be activated, and we need to get to understand the facts. But yeah, I mean, this is clearly, that kind of behaviour is clearly totally unacceptable.
Well, the Conservative Chief Whip has now referred this case to the Independent Complaints and Grievance Scheme. Some MPs are calling for this MP to be named and shamed. That seems unlikely immediately, but certainly does, Simon, feed into this picture of problems at Westminster around sexism, misogyny, inappropriate behaviour, partly because MPs are away from their families. They often work very long days, and there's a lot of alcohol too.
Joe, live in Westminster. Thanks very much indeed.